Florida homeowners are running for the exits. And yet, despite so many folks sounding the alarm bells, like myself, like other content creators, like major CEOs, analysts and industry leaders, Ray Dalio, Jamie Dimon, even warnings from Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, who recently passed, rest in peace. JP Morgan Chase, major retailers getting whacked all over the place in the market because their earnings and guidance are terrible, and Black Friday was a disaster. Walmart, Target, Home Depot, you name it, they took it on the chin, and the consumer is drowning in debt. Homeowners are drowning in debt, and I hear it from everyone. I read your comments, and they make me laugh, and I pray for all of you. Because hope is not a balance sheet item. And if you're getting high on your own supply of hopium, well, you get what you get and you don't get upset. But I am here to share with you the truth, which I suspect is not what you want to hear.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But I've heard it all. Marry the house, date the rate, divorce your spouse, interest rate. Mortgage rates are going back to 2%. And we'll always be able to refinance. Well, maybe, but based on many of the comments that I see, everybody believes that the Florida housing market is a one-trick pony. And that one trick is to continuously increase in value. And recently I met with a potential seller who shared with me their need to sell a home and then their rationale that the snowbirds are going to come and save him. And they're going to come with a big bag of cash and pay an exorbitant amount over what the actual market value for the home is. But interest rates and home insurance rates and property taxes and HOAs and the cost of living and inflation have all skyrocketed. And yet people only want to believe what they want to believe. But I remain committed to sharing the truth so that you can make the best decisions for yourself, for your family, and for your financial bottom line. And yesterday I did a video talking about the value changes that have happened in real time in today's market, which I'll link up above so you can check it out whenever you'd like to. But every home value, every housing market, every real estate transaction, in fact, the sale of anything, is always going to be predicated by supply and demand. And this video is going to be a deep dive into 17 Florida cities that have had massive changes in terms of supply and demand. But don't take my word for it. Verify for yourself, do your own due diligence, and absolutely vet the professional that you might choose to work with.
Before I decide to keep my business with your place, I'd have to come by and have a look at your new operation.
Hey, I tell you what, you can take a good look at a butcher's ass by sticking your head up there, but wouldn't you rather take his word for it?
What? I'm failing to make the connection here, son.
No, I mean, you can get a good look at a T-bone by sticking your head up a butcher's ass, but then, no, it's got to be your bull.
Wow.
Here's the deal. If I want you...
You have derailed.
Shut up, Richard.
Now, thankfully, you don't have to stick your head up the market's ass to get a good look at the numbers, because I'm going to share them with you right now. And to be abundantly clear, these are real-time numbers. This is what's happening right now in today's market. And while I know there are lots of real estate professionals out there that are going to point to the most recent data that's been published by other organizations, please understand that that data is old. That data is lagging. This information is real time. It is the most accurate information that exists right now. And we're going to start in Boca Raton, Florida. Boca Raton numbers for November versus October last month. The supply side changed radically. Homes for sale were up by 3.6%, but the number of homes sold was down 27.3%. And the month's supply of inventory, the homes sitting on the market unsold in Boca Raton, jumped 46.1% to 7 months of inventory. 7 months is a buyer's market. But the unfortunate reality is there are far less buyers buying homes in Boca Raton and everywhere else on planet Earth, which is a leading indicator that the market is changing. And it's changing fast. But as we run through these numbers, you will clearly see that Florida homeowners are running for the exits. But not to worry, I'll never run for the exit. I'll never abandon you, and I'm committed to sharing the truth, despite whatever the overwhelming opinion may be in the comment section. Now, it should be noted, I just got back from a trip to Brazil. I was there with my family for Thanksgiving. Yes, we saw Taylor Swift. Yes, it was a good time. But during the week that I was gone, I was not exactly plugged into what was going on in the real estate market. So when I got back home, it was critical for me to get into the data, understand exactly what's happening over the last week so that I'm current and fluent and can advocate for you the right way. But I almost fell out of my chair when I saw what the most recent stat was for foreclosures within the state of Florida. And I didn't have to do any research. I just simply knew that the number that they published was absolutely 100% dead wrong. But I was quickly able to reconcile by going to my county auction site the massive disparity between what's actually happening in terms of foreclosure auctions versus what they're publishing with the state stats. And I did a deep dive analysis for free for you to check out if you are interested on my Patreon channel. I do have a Patreon channel. Most of the content is free. If you're interested in checking it out, click the link down below, and I appreciate your support. And now we're on to Boynton Beach, the city that I live in. Boynton Beach supply side dynamics have changed radically, and homeowners are running for the exit doors in Boynton Beach. Because in November, homes for sale upticked by damn near 11%. But the buyers went bye-bye because there were 35% less sold homes. In Boynton Beach, 5 months of inventory sitting on the market unsold so far in November for Boynton Beach. And unfortunately, this is a tale of two very different stories, which tells me that not only are the Florida homeowners running for the exit doors, so are the Florida buyers. And if everybody runs to the exit door at the same time, ain't nobody getting out, and I sure as hope nobody yells fire. And I'll correct myself. I hope nobody says fire sale. But make no mistake, fire sales are coming. Which takes me to Delray Beach. Delray Beach, Florida, November numbers, supply side numbers have changed radically. And Delray Beach homeowners are running for the exits to the tune of 10%. Delray Beach homes for sale upticked by 10% in November, but the number of homes sold downticked by 18.7%. The buyers went bye-bye. The number of homes sitting on the market unsold in Delray Beach jumped exponentially, up 38.2% in November so far to 6.2 months of inventory. 6.2 months of inventory is a buyer's market if they can afford to buy a home. And the same trend holds true in Fort Lauderdale. In Fort Lauderdale, the supply side numbers are no bueno, depending on which side of the market you're on. But the number of homes for sale upticked by 2%. 2% more homeowners are running for the exit doors in Fort Lauderdale. And the number of homes sold downticked by 8.3%. But the number of homes sitting on the market unsold in Fort Lauderdale jumped exponentially, 14.6% to 7.1 months of homes sitting on the market unsold. 7.1 months of inventory is a buyer's market if you can afford a home. And while 7 months of inventory is surely a buyer's market, you're going to be blown away when you see how extreme some of the supply sides are in some of these cities. Because some of these cities have north of 20 months of inventory, which tell me at some point prices are going down. Just out of curiosity, what do you think happens to the price of anything when there's 20 months of inventory and almost no sales? Do you think the value for the thing for sale, house, car, watch, Rubik's Cube, do you think it goes higher or lower? The one thing I know for sure is that time will tell. But based on some of the comments that I've read, I don't think any of you are going to figure it out until it's way too late to get involved. And while I hope that's not the case, and I'm praying for you, I really hope that folks pay attention to what's happening now because it's a clear indicator as to what's going to happen in the future. Which takes us to Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale homes for sale in November upticked by 2%. Homes sold downticked by 8.3%. And the month's supply of inventory in Fort Lauderdale, meaning the homes sitting on the market unsold, jumped exponentially, up 14.6% to 7.1 months. Which takes me to Highland Beach. Highland Beach, Florida. Homes for sale upticked by 7.7%. But a big fat goose egg for sold and pending homes in Highland Beach so far in November. But the month's supply of homes for sale in Highland Beach jumped radically. In October, there were 0 months of homes for sale. And in November, there are 13.1 months of inventory of homes for sale, which is no bueno. Which takes us to Jupiter, Florida. The Jupiter, Florida housing market supply side has changed radically. Homes for sale upticked in November by 2%. Homes sold downticked by 25.4%. And the month's supply of inventory of homes sitting on the market unsold in Jupiter, Florida jumped 41.5% to 5.1 months. And to be clear, this is a month-over-month comparison, so it's obviously a small sample size, but please keep in mind these are the leading indicators that point to what is likely going to happen in the future. Unless the Fed loosens their policy, which will bring down mortgage interest rates, and if that happens, then bar the door, Sally, it's off to the races. Home values are going to skyrocket, and it will be the worst thing that ever happened for the country. It will be a reverse housing market crash. And while in the short term, a lot of folks will make a lot of money, there will be economic hell to pay in the future. Not that there already isn't right now. It just will be a million times worse. The Lake Worth, Florida housing market has changed radically. Homes for sale upticked 9.7%. Homes sold downticked 4.8%, and the month's supply of inventory jumped 21.6% to just a scotch under 4 months. The Lantana housing market changed radically in November. Homes for sale upticked 30%. Home sellers are running for the exit doors in Lantana, but the number of homes sold downticked 20%. And the month's supply of inventory jumped to 9.1 months. We're almost in double digits, and spoiler alert, we're gonna get there, but up 68.3% in terms of months supply of inventory in Lantana in November so far. Which takes us to Loxahatchee, Florida, and the trend remains the same. Homes for sale upticked 9.8%. Homes sold downticked 46.4%, which takes us to the 305. We're talking about Miami. Homes for sale in Miami in November, supply side, jumped almost 5%, 4.9 to be exact, but the number of homes sold, and to be clear, I'm referencing single family homes in all of these stats. The number of homes for sale in Miami downticked 33.4%. The number of pending sales downticked 13.7%. And the month's supply of inventory in Miami jumped 62.7% to 6.5 months. Which takes us to North Palm Beach. Now we're back in the 561. And in North Palm Beach, the homes for sale in November upticked 2.3%. The number of sold homes downticked 9.1%. And the number of homes pended in November downticked by 33.3%, which was an uptick in months supply of inventory by 17% to 4.1 months, which takes us to Palm Beach, Florida. The Palm Beach housing market is an anomaly based on all the things that we've shared so far, because the number of homes for sale upticked 24.6%, but the number of homes sold jumped 50%, which sounds good, right? Unfortunately, the number of homes pended downticked by 85.7%, which took us to a massive whopper of months of inventory. And to be clear, it's actually an improvement from October, but in November, there were 22.1 months supply of homes sitting on the market unsold in Palm Beach, which was an improvement from October. It's actually down 14%. And to be abundantly clear, supply and demand and price point and product in each and every one of these cities is going to be very different. There will be tremendous variability across the board in all of these markets. And this is a macro picture. This is me just talking high level about the cities. If you're interested in learning more about the micro markets that exist within each of these cities, then please reach out because we would love to help. And now we jump to Palm Beach Gardens. Palm Beach Gardens, homes for sale upticked 3.4%. Homes sold downticked 12.1%. Which takes me to the market that many of you have requested, which of course is Port St. Lucie. Shout out to Greg Oldakowski and Grand Construction. They are the best of the best in Port St. Lucie. But let's check out what the supply side numbers are. And if you are interested in new construction in Port St. Lucie, please reach out to my good friend Greg. But homes for sale upticked 5% in Port St. Lucie. Homes sold downticked 29.4% in Port St. Lucie in November. And the number of homes pending sale in November in Port St. Lucie downticked 12.6%, which led to a massive whopper of exponential growth in the month's supply of inventory, an uptick of 54.7% to 4.8 months of homes sitting on the market unsold in Port St. Lucie. And I hope by now the trend seems pretty obvious, but the trend continues in Riviera Beach, Florida. Homes for sale downticked 9.6%. Homes sold downticked 56.2%. Pending sales in November in Riviera Beach upticked 78.6%. So there's a mixed bag of activity all over the place in each and every one of these markets, which is to be expected because all of these markets are going to trade differently. But the trend is not your friend, really, in any of them. And the month's supply in Riviera Beach upticked 115.8% to 6.3 months of inventory, which takes us to our final city, West Palm Beach, Florida. West Palm Beach, Florida, homes for sale upticked in November 10.6%. Homes sold in November in West Palm Beach downticked 31.2%. And pending home sales also took it on the chin, down 6.4%. So homeowners in West Palm Beach are running for the exits to the tune of about 10.6%, but the buyers are running for the exits just as fast, which tells me the market dynamics that have been in play for the last 2 years are not sustainable. And the month supply of inventory upticked 66.7% to 6.7 months of homes sitting on the market unsold, which conclusively tells me the Florida housing market is changing fast. And Florida homeowners are running for the exit doors. Like, subscribe, check me out on Patreon, and please reach out if I can ever help because who you hire matters.